Oh, good heavens. As you probably know, I worked on four warships for 5 years, dismantling for the Artificial Reef Society of British Columbia. And what I love doing was taking out the electronics, sorting the electronics, figuring out the electronics, sonar, radar, everything, and the cannons and artillery. And this is a 3-inch 70 dual barrel, water cooled barrels, 71,000 moving parts. And I'm not sure if that's counting the bottom part where the merry-go-round device. Actually, I got a video of that. Merry-go-round device grabs the shells from the trays that look like Coke bottling, a whole bottling system, and that all I took all apart. Plus, took out the main pieces of the cannon itself, drained all the oil, saved a lot of goodies for myself, of course, which I still have. I do have them. However, if I had industrial space, I'd probably get the whole cannon. But the barrels were interesting to remove. The water system was interesting. Metropolitan Vickers, oil pots all through it. Control computer vintage synchro motors and vacuum tubes. Warship, Yukon, Columbia, Saskatchewan, and Mackenzie. However, Columbia had a mortar bay. That was fun taking that stuff apart. Heavy cast, at least a half-inch to an inch thick, that housed the electronics, computers, and all that stuff. So I took a lot of that up the hill too. So there's a video of me crawling around in here, and I took myself. And let's see, let's go to the, okay, so the shells were in the bottom of the ship kind of thing, and were hoisted up through the hoist. And Wesley Baker wanted, not Wesley Baker, sorry, Wes Roots wanted those as end tables, big, heavy, cast bronze pieces, which I saved to him. And also I found on sighting mechanism, which is a small room with the radar antenna and the optical sights, which I do have those. I found layers of silver slip rings, at least 50 pounds of them. So I got my white bucket, loaded up, carried down to West. Here you go, here's some good scrap metal. Because West would sell the metal to the scrapyard, and what I got paid was anything off the ship I wanted. But yeah, that was fun. I love that stuff. Anyway, let's go to the other cannon I worked on. Okay, so the other set of cannons were 3-inch 50s. And I got to know them, studied them, took them apart, cleaned them. Of course, you don't remove the barrels because of these springs, and you don't have the tooling to do that. On the others, there was tooling. So anyway, these are awesome. I made a 1-hour-long video with me having fun with one of these. I have pieces and parts from this. They're referred to as rifles, by the way, which that's proper terminology, actually. Made at the Navy shipyard. All the stuff on the Canadian warships was from the American shipbuilders and Bureau Ordnance. Also the Navy yards back in east in the United States. Very intricate, interesting system. So, worked on those. Drain the oil pots, take the covers off. You can't have oil in any of this stuff, and it has to be quite clean with oven off, believe it or not. But that's the Canadian Environmental Protection rules and regulations. So I had a lot of fun exploring it, cleaning, keeping the parts, wound up with one of the dish antenna, which is a rotating dish antenna. The centerpiece rotates at a high speed. If you ever know anything about any of these things, and I took all those up the hill and got them running. I found the breech block, brand new, never used for it as well, because they were sort of demilled, but you could get them going again, I'm sure. The breech block, heavy, about 80 pounds, 100 pounds. Then we found a bullet for it, which we sort of just gave to the military, back to the military, and it's kind of interesting. It has some target practice, but oh well, you get in trouble. 3-inch 50, and they had the computer system. The shells were not run by hoist, but carried up through a tube. The guys will load the tray in the back. A little red light goes on, showing you, and I think I still got the little red lights. Anyway, awesome piece of artillery. Now that's